A new company with a lot of history, GIS Engineering has rapidly grown its brand around an experienced team of professionals. GIS Engineering is a full-service planning, engineering, procurement, and construction management company specializing in coastal protection and restoration, upstream and downstream industrial, and transportation infrastructure projects. Putting people first, GIS Engineering, a new company with a lot of history.
Everybody, welcome into Going Public. I am Harry McCullough. This week, we talked to the Executive Director of the Terrebonne Port Commission. That's Mr. David Riley. Thanks so much for being with us, Dave. How you doing?
Thank you for having me, Harry.
Summertime, huh?
It's a good time of the year. I mean, we've got football starting up. We got fall weather coming. I'm ready.
I tell you, the colonels have been impressive, but we're going to start today with a colonel, and there's a new colonel. You know, a lot of times you think of the Corps. You just think Corps, it's a government. The Corps is actually part of the Army, right?
Exactly.
So,
that's why they call it the Army Corps of Engineers.
And there's a new colonel. So did
correct.
You meet him, or can you tell us about
Yes. So every 3 years, the Corps, just like the Coast Guard, all military, rotate their colonels as part of their ladder to get to, you know, where they're going, okay? Whether they're going to be generals or whatever. So I think there's, and don't hold me to this, but there's probably 15 or 20 Corps districts in the United States, okay? New Orleans being the busiest one in the United States because of all the commerce and the marine traffic and all of that. Well, every 3 years we get a new colonel, and I've served as port director for 20 years, so I've met a lot, you know, and plus before I became port director. Well, this year, I don't know how this happened, but we got a colonel, and his name is Scotty Otan. And he was born and raised in Houma, Louisiana.
And he's the colonel of the Corps?
And he's the colonel of the Corps of Engineers for the New Orleans district. Not only that, his great-great-grandfather was one of the original members of the Deepwater Channel Committee that dug the Houma Navigation Canal. Okay, they were industry leaders that saw a need to dig a straight line to the Gulf of Mexico with no overhead restrictions for the economy and the marine industry in Terrebonne Parish. They had the foresight to do that. So how we lucked out and got a guy that he even lived in Dulac, okay?
Wow.
So how many times have you heard of a colonel anywhere in the United States that has lived in Dulac, Louisiana? And he's a great guy. So I wanted to bring that up because he really, this channel is a big part of his heart.
Right.
And he's really gung-ho about getting this done. And so now that I got that out of the way, what I'd like to do is go through what we've been through for the last 27 years trying to deepen this channel. And I'm going to go through it quick. I've already went through it once with this group, but it's worth saying again. So in 1997, as part of the Morganza to the Gulf Hurricane Protection System, they were going to install a lock, okay, to lock us up for when the storms come. In 1998, the Terrebonne Port Commission wanted to deepen the channel. Gulf Island, all the big companies we had, all of them knew we needed a deeper channel, 5 foot deeper, from 15 feet to 20 feet. In March of 2001, which is year 3, the Corps completed a preliminary evaluation and determined that further federal participation was warranted based on the national economic development benefits. And this is just the way this is lingo that they use in the government. Okay, so let's go to 2009. Year 11, okay, it was decided that since the Morganza to the Gulf was not yet federally authorized, the Corps could not continue with the agency deepening study under that authorization. So in November of 2011, which is year 13, the Corps suggested that DOTD take over the study under the guidance of a Section 203, which is something that came out of the 1986 Word Bill. And I know this is all complicated, but bear with me. So So we had to sign an MOA with the Corps so that we could take the study out of their hands, get with DOTD, finish the study, then put it back in their hands. So we had to do a MOA. So they said, use this template of this a memorandum of agreement, so y'all can do the study. And we've already used it and vetted it. All of our legal people looked at it. So we said, okay, we'll use your version and let's get it done. 26 months later, it was signed. Okay, good thing we used one that was already vetted. Okay,
right.
All right. I mean, it's ridiculous. All right. So, after the 26 months of the MOA, we got it signed, and we started looking and working on this study. In January of 2014, which was year 16, the Corps handed the existing study over to DOTD with assurance that the study was 98% complete. Well, I don't believe everything they tell you.
98%.
Yeah, well, in 2017, year 19, under the DOTD's direction, the study was moving forward for 3 years, but it was nowhere near 98% complete, okay, when it was handed off. And it ended up costing us an additional $250,000 because we had to update the environmental impact study. In 2018, which is year 20, the study arrived in D.C. for authorization. We were so happy and proud, so Congress could approve it, and it was going to be in the 2018 Word of Bill. Well, guess what? They dragged their feet in Washington, and it never made the 2018 Word of Bill, so we had to wait another 2 years to the 2020 Word of Bill, which was year 22, okay? In August of 2023, which was year 25, on the study, 3 years after DOT, Terrebonne Port, and the Corps signed a cost share agreement. Okay, we still haven't done anything. So January of 2024, which is year 26, Terrebonne Port and DOTD completed the pipeline identification and location surveys so that we could get the pipelines lowered and moved. Okay, and I guess we could stop here and or we can continue.
Yeah, keep continuing.
Okay, so that was year 26. So they still couldn't do the pipeline determination because there were other boxes that they had to check. Okay, not our fault. That's their policy and guidance. Mm-hmm. That's what they call it. And the port will lose another few years waiting on final approval by the ASA's office, which is Assistant Secretary of the Army. July 2025, year 27. Okay, which was just this past July.
Right.
The Corps completed the letter report, the NEPA update, which is the environmental, and sent it to Vicksburg. Vicksburg is studying it, and I just heard that it's been forwarded to the ASA's office in Washington, okay, which is, he gives final approval, okay. In comes the new colonel, all right. We had a what they call a public hearing for the low water trip with the Mississippi River Commission. Clifford Smith used to be on that commission, okay? So I read what I'm about to go over now to this commission.
that'd be a good place to break.
Okay.
Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll find what you were saying to the commission and what the outcome, only 27 years later.
That's right.
All right, we'll be right back when we're going public right after this.
Sea Level Construction is a heavy civil contractor that provides turnkey services for the industrial and marine industries. From building large-scale infrastructure to installing the foundation for expansion projects, Sea Level and its family of companies offer a wide range of capabilities including driven piles, drill deep foundations, structural fabrication, structural concrete, marine construction, barge maintenance and repair, site work development, heavy equipment repair services, and electrical services. Call Sea Level Construction to set the foundations for your next big project.
Located at 5004 Imperial Drive in Houma, April and Iris is a must-see for those looking for exquisite home decor and gifts. Owned by April Boudreau, along with her talented design team, there is no lack of detail to enhance your shopping experience. April and Iris has all your decor needs.
Come in today and let us help you complete your design vision. It's what we do.
April and Iris, Homa's newest home interior and gift store, where decor and inspiration meet and fulfill all your design needs.
Terrebonne Parish School District is now hiring bus drivers. A valid CDL is required. If you don't have a CDL, we have paid training available. You must be able to pass a medical health exam and a drug test. Our salary range is very competitive with similar jobs starting at $26 per hour. Benefits include free health insurance and retirement. Contact the TPSD Transportation Office at 876-7400 or apply online at www.tpsd.org. Terrebonne Parish School District is now hiring bus drivers. A valid CDL is required. If you don't have a CDL, we have paid training available. You must be able to pass a medical health exam and a drug test. Our salary range is very competitive with similar jobs starting at $26 per hour. Benefits include free health insurance and retirement. Contact the TPSD Transportation Office at 876-7400 or apply online at www.tpsd.org.
A new company with a lot of history, GIS Engineering has rapidly grown its brand around an experienced team of professionals. GIS Engineering is a full-service planning, engineering, procurement, and construction management company specializing in coastal protection and restoration, upstream and downstream industrial, and transportation infrastructure projects. Putting people first, GIS Engineering, a new company with a lot of history.
Welcome back to Going Public. I'm Harry McCullough. We're spending time with David Ravelet, the Executive Director of the Terrebonne Port Commission. You've just walked us through 27 years of when we started this process of deepening the navigational canal. And you read a letter recently to the new Corps of Engineers, right?
Well, to the Mississippi River Commission and the new colonel. And these are some excerpts from the letter to the Mississippi River Commission's public hearing, okay, 2 weeks ago. So, core policy and guidance. Well, first of all, they had a bunch of people that wanted me to just knock them between the eyes, okay? And I wanted to, believe me.
Right.
But I felt I owed it to this colonel. And a lot of times when you go to these types of public hearings, if you try to come across to being too much of a bad guy, it doesn't bode well.
Right.
Okay. So. My statement was, Corps policy and guidance has unfairly delayed and killed many good projects across this great country. We have a unique opportunity to rethink the Corps projects, delivery, and remove unnecessary red tape disguised as policy and guidance. And none of that's law. That's just stuff that they make up. Okay? This region is the tip of the spear for President Trump's energy and maritime dominance agenda. And in the late 1950s and early 1960s, fellow community leaders saw this potential and successfully led the effort to build the Houma Navigation Canal. That's where Colonel Otan's great-great-grandfather was participating. So during the mid-1990s, the offshore energy industry that Terrebonne Port supports moved into deeper water in the Gulf of Mexico, or Gulf of America, I'm sorry. This move required larger and deeper draft vessels. As an example, in 1978, Shell's Cognac project was installed in 1,000 feet of water in the Gulf of America. And just recently, Shell installed Project Whale in 8,600 feet of water. In 1998, Terrebonne Port requested the help of the Corps to deepen the channel to a depth of 20 feet. And thus the study commenced. In 2001, after 3 years of study, and I'm going to go back over some of this stuff, the Corps officially determined that it was in national interest to deepen the channel to 20 feet to keep pace with the needs of our domestic energy and maritime industries. Unfortunately, over the last 27 years, despite having a strong partnership with the New Orleans District and a project with an estimated $10.9 billion in national economic benefits, which means it's a very, very good project, this project has become mirrored in bureaucratic red tape. Today, we have a unique opportunity to rethink the Corps' project delivery and revise unnecessary and outdated policy and guidance that, while well-intentioned, are undercutting America's energy and maritime dominance. Our current challenge is getting the pipeline companies to come to the table. The port has been ready since January of 24 to start work on lowering 14 pipelines and relocating 11. But the companies are all waiting to hear from the Corps. After the Corps performs a compensatory pipeline determination, a simple letter to these companies will go a long way to get the project back on track, okay? Now, they couldn't do it because they didn't check all the boxes, so they just sat there for a year and a half, okay? So over the last 8 months, the Trump administration has signed multiple executive orders outlining their energy and maritime dominance agenda, most notably restoring America's maritime dominance on April 9th, 2025, and unleashing America's energy on January 20th, 2025. The intent of the executive orders is to create energy dominance for the USA and to grow American shipbuilding and repair where the workforce exists along the Gulf Coast. While Port Fourchon is the focal point of oil and gas industry activity, they depend on Terrebonne Port's fabrication activity. Terrebonne Port wants to focus on the Trump priorities of energy and shipbuilding, as well as vessel repair and Coast Guard inspections. The Terrebonne region's companies build and repair vessels for the Corps, Coast Guard, NOAA, and the oil and gas industry. Unfortunately, over the last 27 years, this region and our country have lost out on billions of dollars of available work because of HNC's 15-foot depth. The good news is that there are small but important steps that we can take right now to get this critical project back on track and start delivering on President Trump's energy and maritime security agenda. 2 years ago, the New Orleans District started working on a letter report requested by the ASA's office to answer some outstanding questions and revise the NEPA document. The NEPA is the environmental. This work was completed in July of this year and sent to the Vicksburg District for approval. It then goes to the ASA's office for final approval. Without any changes to core policy and guidance, October 2028 is the absolute earliest our region can start the pipeline work. Okay, the earliest the pipeline work will be completed is 4 to 6 years after October of 2028. At which time our country can begin to realize the $10.9 billion economic benefits for this project. The pipeline work can be expedited if the New Orleans District is allowed to start on the pipeline compensatory determination now instead of waiting for the Vicksburg District and ASA's office to give final approval. Okay, it worked. All right. The colonel called me. He texted me. He said, David, I was so happy that you didn't come after us with two guns, okay? Right. And you did a great job. And this is a passion of mine, and it will be done. This morning, when I got to work after the Labor Day holiday, I had an email from the legal people at the Corps in New Orleans District, starting the process of contacting the pipeline companies so we can start this process of getting them lowered.
Unbelievable. All right, we will take one more break. When we come back, we're going to unpack all of that. Stay with us right here on Going Public.
Led by a 7-member commission, the Terrebonne Port was created to assist our local industry in promoting economic development. We monitor government regulations that affect our local industry and work with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to secure maintenance dredging funds. Because the HNC is the main artery for the heartbeat of Terrebonne's economy, Terrebonne Port fights a constant battle for funding to maintain the federally authorized navigable depth. We are now leasing waterfront and non-waterfront property. Terrebonne Port Commission, serving our industry to keep Terrebonne thriving.
Sea Level Construction is a heavy civil contractor that provides turnkey services for the industrial and marine industries. From building large-scale infrastructure to installing the foundation for expansion projects, Sea Level and its family of companies offer a wide range of capabilities including driven piles, drilled deep foundations, structural fabrication, structural concrete, marine construction, barge maintenance and repair, site work development, heavy equipment repair services, and electrical services. Call Sea Level Construction to set the foundations for your next big project.
Located at 5004 Imperial Drive in Houma, April and Iris is a must-see for those looking for exquisite home decor and gifts. Owned by April Boudreau, along with her talented design team, there is no lack of detail to enhance your shopping experience. April and Iris has all your decor needs.
Come in today and let us help you complete your design vision. It's what we do.
April and Iris, Homa's newest home interior and gift store, where decor and inspiration meet and fulfill all your design needs.
In South Louisiana, storms are a way of life. Every storm poses a different threat, whether from flooding or hurricane-force winds. At All South Consulting Engineers, we help protect our people from these disasters. Before a storm, we work with our leaders to prevent catastrophic damage. After the storm, we help get the resources needed for rebuilding. We have helped our cities, parishes, and school boards recover over $2 billion to rebuild our community. We'll be here for the next one.
Everybody, welcome back to Going Public. Harry McCully here. David Ravelay wrapping up, the Executive Director of the Terrebonne Port Commission. That is unbelievable news. It's great to hear. I don't know if it has anything to do with an OTAN being in charge as the colonel, but look, he's been in business he's been in there 3 weeks or so. So yeah. I'm sure it didn't hurt.
We're gonna have to name a bridge after him or something. I mean, this guy, great guy. I mean, we hit a grand slam when they put him as the.
And you said you've had more correspondence with him
in 3 weeks than I've had in the last 27 years with the other colonels. Not that any of them were bad, but you know, it's just they like I said, the New Orleans district is the busiest district in the country.
Right.
And those guys get in there and they don't know anything. And they have
to learn.
But he.
By the time they're learning, their 3 years is up.
Exactly. Yeah. But in his case, you know, they told him the first day, well, look, you need to go down to Morgan City. Okay.
I know where it's at.
Yeah, I know exactly where it's at. Yeah. You know where Dulac is? Yeah, I live there. You know, and I mean, finally, somebody upstairs decided to send him to us.
So as you were saying, if it had went through Vicksburg, it would have been at earliest 2028.
No, it's still going through Vicksburg. However, yeah, they wouldn't let them start looking at the pipelines until after they check the boxes all the way up and check the boxes all the way down. This colonel got in and he said, and I told him, I said, Colonel, it's policy and guidance, and that's not law. That's just rules that they make up in Washington. Right. One size fits all, and it doesn't. And he recognized that immediately. And he said, David, if it's policy or guidance, I will wipe the slate clean and get this stuff rolling. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to do this.
Look, anybody who knows a little bit about Terrebonne Parish history knows the OTAN name. Exactly. Is that the same meatpacking?
OTAN's meat packing. I think they made Vienna sausages. And they were very, very popular. In fact, I went to school with two of his first cousins. Yeah. Okay, they still in our community, right. And they're still part of the community.
But if you read back when they show like old newspapers and all, you always see the OTAN name.
Exactly.
You see the DuPonts. These and that. Those are forefathers for our community.
Early leaders, and they saw the benefit of having a straight shot to the Gulf of Mexico with no overhead restrictions. That's extremely important.
Yeah.
No overhead restrictions, and they saw the benefit to that for our economy. And I mean, people fought them. You know, I mean, of course, you have both sides of the story. You know, the environmentalists don't like it, and this, that, and the other. But it's there. We're going to deepen it. We're gonna create billions of dollars more for our economy in this area. We're going to create thousands and thousands of jobs. You know, Bollinger, Thomasy, the Schwess, they wouldn't still be here if they didn't see what we see.
But look, that was January, right, when he got into office, and Trump makes those big nerds, and then he holds it up. That was an executive order to get our shipbuilding going, right? And this has got to be part of that.
Yeah, he signed, I don't know how many of them, you know.
They want to, again, bring steel back to our country, bring awareness. If we ever have a war, we got to have ships. We got to have the ability.
Exactly.
And if these businesses all go out of business, how are we going to make ships?
Yeah, well, they're going to build them elsewhere, and we're not going to have any jobs. He even signed an executive order the other day and lifted it up and said, an auto pen could not do this. but look, you got to. He's a unique guy.
Right.
You got to take your hat off to him. He understands how things work. He doesn't always say it right.
Right.
He aggravates a lot of people with the way he talks. But the guy knows what he's doing. He knows how to run businesses, and he knows how to clean up things. And look, I mean, we're going to see.
Well, like I say, if you look at our national security, that was a weak spot, right?
Exactly.
And I think they recognize that, and that's what part of all of this is kind of going in to make sure that we secure
dominance.
Right.
Energy dominance.
Energy.
Strength.
Right.
That's all. That's all would.
Well, this is one of the most uplifting things I've heard in a long time. So, man, we appreciate the update.
And hopefully I can come and pile on next time, okay?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. All right, David Ravley, Executive Director of the Port Commission. Thanks
Thank you, Harry.
All right, well, that is Going Public. I'm Harry McCullough. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.
A new company with a lot of history, GIS Engineering has rapidly grown its brand around an experienced team of professionals. GIS Engineering is a full-service planning, engineering, procurement, and construction management company specializing in coastal protection and restoration, upstream and downstream industrial, and transportation infrastructure projects. Putting people first, GIS Engineering, a new company with a lot of history.